Well, today we're looking at another Action Man or G.I. Joe knockoff, and this time we're looking at the many named figure, but I think best known as Bruce Action. Yep, they went with, we've got an Action Man, what should we call him? Well, we need action in our title. What about Bruce? Does he look like a Bruce? They're not wrong, he does look a bit like a Bruce. So this is, he went under many names. I think one, Johnny Action. He was sold for many years in the UK and the US under different names. And he was always a budget figure, but he's a little bit of a step above the sort of the normal blow molded budget figure. He's got a lot more articulation, which we'll see. I'll show you his body, Bruce's body, in a little bit. But yeah, he was a little bit of a step up. His equipment was always a little bit cheap and shoddy, which again I'll show you the material. I've actually washed his, when he turned up he was very dirty, so I've washed his this is the sort of flight suit version. The uniform came with like a Mae West belt and some boots and stuff, but I haven't got any of them. But what's sort of interesting is, I don't remember this from my childhood at all. I remember the blow moulded ones, but I don't remember these. I don't know whether they were particularly regional or something like that. If you had one and you're in the UK, let me know, because I'd love to know. I just assumed it wasn't available in the UK, but the copyright on the back is definitely UK. And I can't see that he would have made his way here. Otherwise, I'm presuming they'd have been sold in cheap shops. You know, like these sort of blow moulded ones were in seaside shops. So you go on holiday, go down to the seafront and buy yourself an Action Man just to play with over the holiday, and then usually wouldn't make it back. MIA. But this guy's a little bit of a step up. I'd love to know what his original costs were. I would have been happy to have this one, because he's quite movable. He feels a little bit cheap. He's still sort of blow moulded, but a much better quality of blow moulded plastic. But let's have a look at his face. The sculpt is not bad. He's got an incredibly weak chin that I have seen online. If I can find it, I'll show photos of him without his beard on. They did a version where they didn't flock the beard. Oh my goodness, he looks like he's got problems. It's actually the only flock bearded sort of 12-inch figure I own. I just hated the Action Men flock bearded ones when they came out with them in sort of the late 70s. Just, I don't know, it annoyed me. I think my mother said never trust anyone with a beard, which is ironic because I've got a beard now. But yeah, I never really had the bearded ones. But it's good flocking, and it survives really well, better than a lot of Action Men. This fella, he's got a few problems. He's been chewed a bit. Can you see? In focus, his thumb's been chewed, his feet have been chewed. But let's get him out of his uniform.
I can't connect to your Wi-Fi network. You can find setup instructions in the help section of your Alexa app.
Am I the only one that thinks Alexa's gone right downhill? Oh god. Never mind. What was I saying? Oh yeah, we'll get him out of his uniform, and we'll have a look at his joints, etc. Okay, so let's have a look at his uniform first. So these uniforms were incredibly cheaply made. The stitching was just single row running stitch, so you nick one and the whole thing would fall apart. And the material was always this really cheap cotton that frayed like mad. So finding the uniforms loose is pretty hard in any good condition. You're better off trying to get a carded one and break it open and upsetting the collectors. So let's have a look at his body. So he comes with a swivel neck joint, his very soft head, but again very nicely flocked, covered in cat hairs. Cat was sniffing him yesterday. He comes with swivel and turn shoulders, which mimics a ball joint. He's got cut elbows. He's got a cut joint on the wrist so he can turn his hands, and then he's got a cut joint a swivel joint on the wrist, and then a cut joint on the actual hand. So pretty movable. One interesting thing, these hands, now that one's chewed. Let's look at the other one. Yeah, someone's chewed this one. I don't know if it's a person or a dog. The hands are almost exact copies of Mego's Action Jackson line, been scaled up. The same pose, the same weird thumb position. So I think they were looking at the success of Mego perhaps on their Type 1 bodies, and they've sort of scaled it up a bit. But his hands are slightly better than this fella's. And it has to be said, better than the 2022 Action Man's hands, because at least he can hold something. So you get a turn waist. You get a little bit of forward and backwards movements because the join is a bit loose. He's got some good abs. Look at him. You get almost a ball joint hip, so outwards movement, up and down, so it gives you really good posability. Very weak joints though. You get cut knee joints, and you get cut ankles. So all in all, he's a really flexible fellow, is Bruce. You can get Bruce into any position you want. And then the copyright, I don't know if you can read it, it says USA and UK pat penned in Fairland Toy, that's who made it, Fairland Toys, Hong Kong. Hello. You right, Mags? Being yelled at. Do you want to sniff him again? You're enjoying sniffing him yesterday, weren't you? Yeah. Maggie approves of Bruce, I think. So we'll get him dressed and we'll have a quick summation. You can see the face a bit better. He's got a lot of character in his face, but he has got something wrong with his chin. He's got the weakest chin in action figure history. But at least they've tried to go with something different, not just totally copying Action Man. Good quality plastic for the most part. You can see his arms a different colour to his body. I don't know whether that was like that originally. It looks like it. Or it could be that someone's put this together from multiples, but I don't think so. It probably was like that originally. Perhaps he just, I don't know, fake tanned his arms. Moulded on underpants. But yeah, good quality plastic. Reminds me of the early 12-inch Mego body plastics. Although the body is blow moulded, it's really thickly done. So well done, Bruce. You've been working out. So I've got him back in his uniform. So all in all, I think it's a really nice knockoff figure. It's better made than a lot of them. Shame that the head hasn't got a ball joint, but you know, compared to this fella, and certain, I mean, there's even worse ones than this fella. I think he's a really nice one. I'm glad to have him. I'm glad to have Bruce in my army. I'm going to try and get him a better sort of outfit. See if I can pick one up. But the knockoff stuff is going for probably as much, if not more, than the Action Man stuff at the moment. So if you have got any knockoff gear, worth holding on to. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you can. We have a Patreon page if you want to help out that way. And I'll see you again next time. Thanks then. Oh, and the Mag has just come to say cheery bye to the viewers. You right, Mags? Yeah, don't go near him. Okay, just going to jump up. Found some sunlight. Well, thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time. Thanks then. Bye.